Hi travel bugs! Today we're going to be going on a one-week journey through Laos. So Laos is a land of stunning natural beauty of waterfalls, limestone mountains, and peaceful towns. It's a little less traveled to than other Southeast Asian countries, but it's definitely worth seeing. That's if you're able to deal with last-minute changes on the fly. But more on that later. In this video, part 1 of 2 will take you from Vientiane to Luang Prabang. Check out the second half if you want to see the rest of the adventure. So let's get started! So the first day, we traveled from Phnom Penh, Cambodia to Vientiane, the capital of Laos. After a lot of research and cost-benefit analysis, we decided that for our time and money, this was better than taking the bus. In Vientiane, I recommend staying near the presidential palace, which feels safe to walk around. We stayed at the Bloom Hotel, which felt safe, but one of our beds had stained sheets, so I don't recommend it. The area is great because it's central to most touristy things. Just remember to exchange your money for a Laotian kip, as USD is not accepted here as it is in Cambodia. Take a stroll around the night market. On the second day, we actually took the high-speed train from Vientiane to Luang Prabang. On the way to the train station, we passed the Pat Tu Jai, which is a French-inspired monument in the heart of the city. Before going to Laos, I would download the app Loca, which is their version of Uber. Once at the station, we purchased our tickets using cash. Previously, there was no way to purchase tickets beforehand, but it looks like there is now an app that you can use, so I can't comment to this, but I would check it out. On the train ride to Luang Prabang, we sat on the right side, which offers insane views of the countryside that still blow my mind today. The train ride from Vientiane to Luang Prabang takes about 2 hours, so just sit back and enjoy the ride. We got in around late morning, early afternoon, and had to wait for a driver to come pick us up, which was about 30 minutes. There's also a shuttle bus where you pay per person to go to the heart of town, but that was also a long wait and cost a little bit more for the two of us. With the heat, the taxi was more comfortable, and the ride itself was about 20 minutes to the heart of town. I was impressed at how big the train station was. It was largely funded by the Chinese government. Once we got into town, we were stunned at how pretty and peaceful the town was. It was deemed a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its beautiful blend of French colonial architecture and Laos traditional culture. Our first stop was to check in and get some rest. We stayed at the Wat Xieng Thong Palace, an old residence of the Laos royalty. It was nice, however, I may not recommend staying here as two cousins or friends, as it felt a little bit too romantic and secluded on the edge of the old quarter. If you're looking for that vibe or going as a couple, I do recommend this place. We then went out to explore town, first stopping at Saffron Coffee, which is a high recommendation from us if you enjoy coffee. You can book a coffee exploration with the owner to learn about the coffee history in Laos. A lot of coffee beans are actually grown in the southeast of Laos. We then did our own food and walking tour around town. This was some rice cakes being dried at the side of the road. We stopped by this Asian eatery for drinks and food and tried this Laotian crispy rice salad. We then stumbled across this beautiful boutique shop where I got one of my favorite travel bracelets of all time. Luang Prabang is a town engulfed between two rivers, so the views around town are just absolutely vibrant. The lady at the boutique actually recommended we go to the edge of town where the Nam Can and the Mekong rivers meet. This place is called the Viewpoint Cafe, where you can actually have some food and a drink. If you want to sit at the balcony closest to the river, you have to get some food, but it's just a great place to spend maybe about an hour as the sun sets, and you can watch all of the slow boats pass by. We ended our night going to the night market, which we actually ended up stopping by every day. The food there is decent but not spectacular. However, there's lots of options, the vibe is really fun, and there's live performances as well. On our third day, we focused on exploring Luang Prabang's temples, the bamboo bridge, and having dinner at one of their fine restaurants. Since we stayed in the old quarter, we walked to the area of the Traditional Arts and Ethnology Center. We found a local vendor who sold these fun, delicious drinks. She didn't speak any English, but some local customers helped us pick. We then checked out the Traditional Arts Center, where we learned about the different tribes and traditions in Laos. Check it out if you want something different, but you can also skip it in my opinion. We then had lunch at the Indigo House, which was also a skip from me. We made our way around town walking by different wats, finally making our way to the biggest wat in Luang Prabang, Wat Xieng Thong. Two important things if you want to consider visiting here is you need to cover your shoulders and wear pants or shorts that are to the length of your knees. You also want to bring cash, and it costs about 20,000 Laotian kip to enter. Some facts about this temple. So the temple was actually built in 1560. It was used as a royal temple for the Laotian kings and played a central role in many ceremonies. This funeral carriage hall videoed here actually houses an elaborate 12-meter tall funeral carriage for transporting the cremated remains of royalty. We were stunned at how beautiful everything looked to be. So there are numerous shrines and buildings that showcase Laos artistry and craftsmanship. So while you're visiting, make sure to look out for all of the drawings, carvings, and glass designs on the side of the building structure. The final thing to take note when you're visiting this temple is to look out for the classic and unique Luang Prabang architectural style, which features a low sweeping roof that almost touches the ground. This is considered one of the best preserved examples of traditional Lao temple architectural style. You're then going to find this blue house and have lunch there at Puk Luk Kitchen. It was one of the best places we had in Luang Prabang. Afterwards, make your way to cross the bamboo bridge. You can search this on Google by finding the Say Nam Khan River View Hotel. It's really cool to cross and it costs about 10,000 kip per person. The bridge is made every year for locals to cross and taken down during the rainy and monsoon season. Take some photos here and get a glimpse of the sunset sky setting. It only takes a few minutes to actually cross the bridge, and once you're on the other side of town, make sure to take a look back. We only explored this area for a few minutes given our lack of time, so I can't speak to what's on this side of town. But we do have high recommendations to get happy hour or dinner at Den Sabai. Make sure to try to get one of the 6 tables closest to facing the bridge for spectacular sunset views. During their happy hour, at least in 2022, there were 2-for-1 drinks. We spent about an hour here before heading back over the bridge to catch our dinner at Manda de Lao. We crossed the bridge back at night and it was completely safe and lit up. We even saw a dog crossing the bridge alone and it was super cute. You'll need reservations for this, but if you want to check it out, it's Manda de Lao. It was an absolutely exquisite dinner with a beautiful setting. It has its own little pond that you can walk through and is just a stunning place to have dinner and drinks in. The restaurant offers traditional Laos and Southeast Asian inspired food and cocktails. After dinner, they called a tuk-tuk for us, which we finally took as the weather cooled down. The next day, on our 4th day in Laos, we made it to Kuang Si Waterfalls and hiked Mount Phousi. So Kuang Si Waterfalls is probably the largest attraction in Luang Prabang and maybe even Laos itself. The waterfalls itself is about 18 miles or about an hour from Luang Prabang. You can get here a number of ways that range from $2 for a shared tuk-tuk or $20 for a private car. The entrance fee is about 25,000 Laotian kip and it is cash only. Located after the entrance, you can actually see some Asian black bears that have been rescued from poachers. They were mostly sleeping when we arrived and when we left, so you won't see much activity from them, but you can make donations to help support their care. So Kuang Si itself is actually an area of multi-tiered waterfalls in this amazing jungle-esque setting. There are about 4 major areas of falls, the lower 2 which you can swim in. I actually recommend going first to the top before swimming if you are planning to do the hike up. Otherwise, you don't want to be hiking down in wet clothes. At the prettiest area of the falls, you cannot get in, but there's a bridge to take photos at. You can actually see this place is quite crowded, and this was in 2022, back when Laos just reopened for visitors, so I expect it's even more crowded now. So if you're able to, I would highly recommend hiking to the top. It provides scenic views and a chance to experience the surrounding jungle. It only takes about 15 to 20 minutes depending on your pace, and at the top there are a number of small pools and even this swing you can climb to the top of. Just be careful because the water is sitting there, so there are a bit more bugs up top. The trail is short, it's only about a quarter mile, but it can be steep and a bit slippery, so make sure to wear comfortable shoes. We walked up towards the left and then went down towards the right where water was flowing down these beautiful steps. Make sure to hold on tight so you don't slip, but it was absolutely so much fun. After hiking, make sure to take a dip in the turquoise pools. The surrounding jungle just makes it feel so magical. If you're getting in, the water isn't that deep, just beware that the bottom is a mixture of sand and some rocks, which can get a little bit slippery. Just beware if you're going here, there are no lockers, so you have to watch out for your things. If you plan on going here, I would spend about a half day for all of the activities. Since we took a private car here, they actually took us to a buffalo ice cream stand after. Each scoop at the time costs about 30,000 Laotian kip. You could even see buffalo crossing the road, and I even think that they gave us a little hello. We then headed back into town and we stopped by the post office to actually send some postcards to friends. This was really cool and it only actually cost us about 50 cents for the postage itself. The postcards you can buy from a stand right outside the post office. Afterwards, we planned to hike Mount Phousi as the sun was setting, and this is the best time to actually go. The hike itself is about 300 steps and takes 15 to 20 minutes to reach the summit. It's not that hard, but it's just a lot of steps. It can get quite crowded though, but you can still take plenty of breaks at the lookout spots. It does cost 20,000 Laotian kip to enter the hike to summit. Once at the top, there are 360-degree panoramic views, and it's just breathtaking at sunset. Just be prepared for lots of crowds. Just try to go 30 to 45 minutes before sunset so you can actually make it to the top when the sun is setting. Once you've hiked back down from Mount Phousi, you'll actually be wherever the night market is. So just grab a bite to eat, get something to drink, and end your night there. Here is something similar to roti, I think, being prepared with some cheese. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to stick around for the second half. This is actually when my solo adventure began after my cousin left. I made my way to the Wat Xieng Waterfalls, to Vang Vieng, and back to Vientiane before ending my trip at the beautiful Waldorf Hotel in Bangkok. Subscribe to see the rest of my trip. If you wanted to find more about Wat Xieng Waterfalls, you can see it in this video here.